My name is Cassia Waligora. I'm a senior at Wheaton College, and I actually grew up in China as a missionary kid, but America home would probably be Richmond, Virginia. So my internship was the summer after my sophomore year at Wheaton, and it was a State Department internship. It's called the State Department Student Internship Program, unpaid, and it was at the U.S. Embassy in Singapore. So I was there for 10 weeks serving in the executive office, so the front office of the embassy. So daily life, so I actually was there with 5 other US interns, and so we all lived together in an apartment in Singapore. And a typical day would look like we all wake up 7 a.m. in the morning, and we all took the bus, a 10-minute bus ride to the embassy from our apartment. And so I was the only intern assigned in the executive office. So in the office it was only me, my supervisor, and the acting ambassador to Singapore. So usually there's an ambassador in the embassy and then their deputy chief of mission, who is the second in command. But since there is currently no U.S. appointed ambassador to Singapore, the deputy chief of mission serves as the acting ambassador, and their official title is charge d'affaires. So I basically assisted the charge with her duties, which included front office, communicating with the rest of the sections in the embassy, drafting emails and papers, as well as attending executive meetings and country team meetings. So I heard about this internship from another Wheaton student actually who had also done the State Department student internship, but she did it at the consulate in Guangzhou. And so I reached out to her and she told me about the application process, applying on USA jobs. And so I applied for the US Embassy in Singapore and the American Institute in Taiwan, and Singapore is the one that I heard back from. I think something that actually I learned during my internship, and I was glad about learning, is that just seeing from the other American interns who I lived with and how during the internship they didn't engage with the culture and with the locals as much, so they just tended just to keep among themselves and not really get to know Singapore and just kind of dig deeper into the local society and the people there. And so I really tried to engage with the locals and actually befriended a lot of the local interns, Singaporean interns who are at the embassy. And I think because of that I was able to get a better understanding of the country, and I think it just helped my internship because then I was able to bring in my own US viewpoints and experiences, but at the same time learn about the Singaporean experience and their viewpoints and where they were coming from. I think the person who left the biggest impression on me was the charge, the acting ambassador to Singapore, and her name was Stephanie Simtak Ramnath, and she's also actually half Asian, similar to me. She's half Singaporean, half American, and she is a senior diplomat, so very experienced in her field. And I think just being able to work with her on a daily basis and see how she engaged with the rest of the embassy staff and with Singaporean dignitaries and US officials who would come into the embassy, she just has a very humble nature and just very professional, and I think she is someone I can really look up to as someone who I want to model myself after and my work, just based on seeing the work that she did at the Singapore Embassy. I would say that it definitely did, because I think before this internship, as it was my very first one, I wasn't sure. I was kind of hesitant about whether I wanted to go into government and into the Foreign Service, and I think this experience really solidified that this is something I could see myself doing in the long term. So basically just living abroad and working at embassies overseas, and I think I was really grateful to have that experience, and it showed me that I could really see myself doing this in the long term. I would say that just don't be hesitant to apply to as many things as possible. I know I was a sophomore when I applied for this internship, and I think I thought I was unqualified because I was young. I didn't have any previous experience, but I had a lot of friends and family members who told me just to go for it, and so I applied and ended up getting this internship. So I would just say, don't think that your self-worth is less than it is, and that you're not qualified for something, because in the end you will be.